Republicans, Democrats down in Rhode Island are calling for a crackdown on illegal workers and unauthorized workers. And it is unbelievable the backlash that's going on right now in the state of Rhode Island. In the past few weeks, state lawmakers and the governor have proposed a battery of measures targeting unauthorized workers, from expelling undocumented children from the state's healthcare system to making English the official language, to jailing business owners and landlords who harbor illegal workers knowingly. Even the father of the state's first baby born on New Year's was caught up in the issue. Days after beaming, minor Montufar appeared in the news, the illegal immigrant was picked up and sent back to Guatemala. The increasingly vitriolic debate is playing out in coffee shops, on talk radio and televisions, dividing a state that has long taken pride in its immigrant roots.
Yeah.
Lawmakers and angry taxpayers say the state is facing $550 million budget deficit and can't afford government services for illegal immigrants. Immigrants accuse the critics of betraying your own heritage, pointing out that Italians and Irish and other groups came to the great state of Rhode Island for the same reason as today's immigrants are coming in, and that is to work. Enino Garcia, a food salesman, said this is a country of immigrants. Why are we having a witch hunt in Rhode Island? A witch hunt. Lawmakers and others say that Rhode Island has been forced to search for solutions to the illegal immigrants because of what is going on the federal basis, which is nothing, and the state of Rhode Island is taking a hit. If this is a country of immigrants, why are we having a witch hunt in Rhode Island? The immigrants say that they're just following in the footsteps of their mom and their dad in previous generations. They're saying, we're just here because we want to work. And when someone says, but wait a minute, you're not legal, that doesn't make any difference. It doesn't mean anything. See, the guy that they deported to Guatemala that had the first baby of the year?
Yeah.
The problem is, when you look into it, he had already defied a deportation order.
Right.
He had also been convicted for disorderly conduct, domestic assault. The guy had a rap sheet.
That all doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't, Gino.
That's what gets me. It's like that's all under the rug. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
But they kicked him out, and there's outrage. Liliana, 34, an illegal alien from Colombia, working in a shoe factory, says she breaks out into a sweat when strangers enter the room afraid they're immigration agents. She said, there's so many bad people out there, kind like you guys. Why don't they go after the bad people out there? She speaks in Spanish, doesn't speak English. And she said, leave the working people alone. Leave us alone. Go after the bad people in your country. I mean, they talk a story about Lincoln, Rhode Island. They talk another story about another guy who said, hey, look, he said, call me a racist if you want. He said, but if you're from Poland or Russia or China or Vietnam or Cambodia or Mexico or wherever you're from, if you're here legally, terrific.
That's correct.
If you're here illegally, go home. And we've got to do something about it. They're quoting this guy that runs a paint store. He's a paint shop owner. And he said, look, I work 11 to 12 hours a day. I have to do that. I have an $800 a month health insurance bill that I have to pay. My friend was hit with a $6,600 hospital bill that he is now paying off a little bit every month on top of his insurance. But the guy down the street who's an illegal alien doesn't pay a dime. He said something's got to change. And everything that's happening in Rhode Island right now, it's finally come to crunch time, probably, with Democrats, Republicans on the same side of the table, the governor and everyone else saying, we have had enough. And the outcry is horrendous from those that step in for the illegal aliens and for the people themselves. And it's not the same as it was 150 years ago. It's not the same as Gino's ancestors coming in.
I mean, the old-timers came into this country and they rolled up the sleeves, they went to work, they built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and they did not come to this country with their palms up looking for some benevolent government to help them out. Matter of fact, a lot of them were too proud to go on relief. And they went out and they worked. They did whatever they could do. And what I'm saying is the breed has run out. It is not the same breed that we're bringing into the country as it was back then.
Gino, I totally disagree with you.
Well, many of these. What do you think's happening?
Just let me explain then for a moment.
Go ahead.
There are a lot of people here, illegal, that are probably the best workers around they can get their hands on. They are phenomenal workers. They will work 20 hours a day if they could. But the problem is that the function of our society in upholding what they're doing, we can't afford it anymore. And I'm not saying they're not good workers. I'm going to say that an awful lot of our Native Americans are not as good work ethic as some of the people coming over. The problem, let me finish.
Go ahead, but
the problem is the infrastructure cannot handle the illegal immigrants that are here, whether they be shoe factories in Central Falls or whether they be in New Bedford tanning factories or wherever it might be. We can't do it, and something's got to be done.